According to The Guardian, in a letter sent to his supporters on March 21st, former President Trump said crazy Democrat Letitia James wants to confiscate my property in New York, including Trump Tower. Mr. Trump added, "The Democrats think this is going to scare me. They think if they take my money to stop my campaign, I'll quit. They think you'll abandon me, abandon the country. But there's one thing they don't know: we will never give up." A New York State judge last month ordered former President Trump to pay a fine of $454.2 million. After he was convicted of manipulating his net worth, the amount includes a fine of $354.9 million USD plus interest after a trial lasting more than 3 months. If Mr. Trump fails to pay the fine on time early next week, the state's attorney general could begin seeking to seize his assets. If he does not have the money to pay the fine, we will seek enforcement mechanisms in court, and we will ask the judge to confiscate his assets, said New York State Attorney General Letitia James. Mr. Trump has denied wrongdoing in all the criminal and civil cases he faces. He has repeatedly described the New York civil case as a case of political revenge by Attorney General Letitia James. Mr. Trump's lawyer said earlier this week that he has not yet found a guarantor for the $454 million fine, making it impossible for him to appeal. Guardian quoted knowledgeable sources as saying that on March 21st, the New York Attorney General's office took the first steps for a plan to confiscate Mr. Trump's assets, including a golf course and a real estate in the North Manhattan. Similar steps were taken in New York City, but not yet in Florida, where Mr. Trump and his family live. Trump said on March 19th that he may have to mortgage or sell part of his real estate to pay the fine. "No one has ever heard of anything like this before. I will be forced to mortgage or sell large assets, perhaps at super cheap prices," he wrote on the social network Truth Social. Trump is facing a financial challenge when he has to balance raising money for both his election campaign and covering legal costs as he faces dozens of criminal charges. Previously, supporters of former President Donald Trump of President launched a GoFundMe page to pay the approximately $355 million that the billionaire X was fined at the conclusion of his New York civil fraud trial. New York State Supreme Court Justice Arthur Engoron on Friday ordered Trump and his companies to pay the state $354,868,768 plus interest that pushes the penalty to $450 million after finding the former president charged for fraudulently manipulating the value of assets on financial statements. In the ruling ending the controversial 3-month trial in Manhattan, Judge Arthur Engoron also banned Mr. Trump, a potential Republican presidential candidate, from assuming any leadership or director position of any company in New York for 3 years. He also barred former President Trump and the companies named in the lawsuit from applying for loans from any financial institution licensed in New York for 3 years, potentially limiting their ability to receive credit used by Mr. Trump's major U.S. banks. Judge Engoron also affirmed that he will appoint independent monitor and a director to oversee Mr. Trump's business activities. In response, Mr. Trump criticized the above ruling. His defense lawyer, Alina Habba, also confirmed that he will appeal. The lawsuit was brought by New York Attorney General Letitia James, accusing Mr. Trump and his family companies of inflating his net worth by up to $3.6 billion a year for more than a decade to defraud him, deceive banks into offering better loan terms. Judge Engoron affirmed that Mr. Trump and his company's previous illegal acts were part of the reason for the heavy penalties. In 2022, the Trump Organization was convicted of tax fraud. In addition to civil lawsuits, former President Donald Trump is currently facing criminal charges in 4 other cases. Before Trump, in American history, there were a number of presidents who were involved with the law, including Andrew Johnson, 1865 to 1869. Impeachment: Johnson was impeached by the House of Representatives in 1868 for violating the Tenure of Office Act, which prohibited the president from firing officials without the consent of the Senate. Result: Johnson was acquitted by the Senate in 1869. 2. Ulysses S. Grant, 1869 to 1877. Scandals: Grant was involved in several scandals during his tenure, including the Credit Mobilier Affair and the Whiskey Ring Affair. Consequences: although Grant was not charged with a crime, these scandals damaged his reputation. 3. Warren G. Harding, 1921 to 1923. Scandals: Harding was involved in several scandals during his tenure, including the Teapot Dome Affair and the Ohio Gang Affair. Aftermath: Harding died suddenly in 1923 before these scandals were exposed. 4. Richard Nixon, 1969 to 1974. Scandal: Nixon was implicated in the Watergate scandal, in which he ordered a break-in at the headquarters of the Democratic National Committee. Aftermath: Nixon resigned in 1974 before being impeached by the House of Representatives. 5. Bill Clinton, 1993 to 2001. Scandal: Clinton was impeached by the House of Representatives in 1998 for perjury and obstruction of justice in the Monica Lewinsky scandal. Result: Clinton was acquitted by the Senate in 1999. Looking back at history, before the above accusation, let's learn about Donald Trump's achievements during his presidency. Economy. Economic growth. The U.S. economy grew on average 2.3% per year during Trump's term, higher than the 1.6% growth rate under Obama. Unemployment rate decreased from 4.7% to 3.5%, the lowest level in 50 years. Tax reform. Trump signed into law the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017, reducing taxes for businesses and individuals. Deregulation. Trump has repealed a number of economic regulations which he says hinder economic growth. Diplomatic. Exit the Trans-Pacific Partnership (TPP). Trump believes that TPP will harm the U.S. economy. North American Free Trade Agreement (NAFTA) renegotiation. Trump renegotiated NAFTA with Mexico and Canada, creating the United States-Mexico-Canada Trade Agreement (USMCA). Relocation of the U.S. Embassy in Israel to Jerusalem. Trump has made good on his promise to relocate the U.S. Embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. Peace deal between Israel and the United Arab Emirates. Trump brokered the historic peace deal between Israel and the United Arab Emirates. Laramie. Increased defense budget. Trump increased the defense budget to $700 billion USD, the highest level in history. Establishment of Space Force. Trump established the Space Force, the sixth branch of the U.S. military. Kill ISIS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. Trump ordered the U.S. military to kill ISIS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. Finland appointed 2 Supreme Court justices. Trump appointed 2 Supreme Court justices, Neil Gorsuch and Brett Kavanaugh. Construction of the U.S.-Mexico border wall. Trump has begun construction of the border wall between the U.S. and Mexico. Ban on immigrants from some Muslim countries. Trump has issued a ban on immigrants from some Muslim countries. Returning to the allegations, observers said that the above ruling will make it difficult for Trump family members to run their businesses in the near future. On his social networking site, Mr. Trump condemned the ruling of Judge Engoron and New York prosecutors. The former president announced he would appeal. According to Reuters, Mr. Trump and the other defendants may be required to pay the entire fine according to the court's judgment plus interest during the appeal process. Former presidents can also pay smaller fines along with collateral and interest by securing a type of loan called an appeal bond, but he may have difficulty finding partners willing to lend after Judge Engoron discovered he and his associates lied to banks about their wealth. It is unclear how much cash Mr. Trump has, while estimates of his assets vary widely. Forbes magazine estimates his net worth at $2.6 billion. Mr. Trump told the court last year that he had about $400 million in cash. Recently, Mr. Trump collected enough votes to become the Republican presidential candidate. According to the Associated Press, Mr. Trump surpassed the threshold of 1,215 delegates on the evening of March 12th when he won the primary elections in the states of Georgia, Mississippi, Hawaii, and Washington. The Republican National Convention will take place from July 15th to 18 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. According to procedure, Mr. Trump will officially accept the nomination to become the party's presidential candidate at this event. The Democratic National Convention will take place a month later, and Mr. Biden will officially accept the party's nomination to rematch Mr. Trump. Next, let's learn about some interesting facts about Donald Trump through multiple choice questions. Let's go. What is Trump's full name? A. Donald Trump. B. Donald John Trump. C. Donald J.R. Trump. Bravo, it's B. Where was Mr. Trump born? A. New York. B. Georgia. C. Washington. Bravo, it's A. When was Donald Trump elected? A. 2015, 2016, C. 2017. Exactly, it's B. Do you think Donald Trump will be elected president again? Please leave your opinion in the comments section. Thank you.